So Baden-Baden is the 7th round. This is the last round of the GRENKE Chess Classic tournament. We're talking to Eugeny Atarov, who had a very nice day yesterday. Tell me about your visit to the casino.
Oh, it was funny because during the 3 years I worked like a professional player and I play in blackjack, and I have traveling around the world and to be at different casinos. And when I come to the Baden-Baden, I don't go to the casino and test it.
So how much did you win?
Not much, about a few hundred of euros. And first of all, I'm starting playing blackjack, and yesterday I had some opponents on the poker table, and I play about a few hours. It was funny.
Okay, but you're not here to play poker. You're here to cover chess. A lot of people in the chess world must have read some of your stories. You started working in the chess world in 1992. That's a long time. What is your first big interview with one of the top players?
It's a very interesting story because it was my first big event. I come to Moscow to the special tournament on rapid chess. It's called Kremlin Chess. Oh no, Kremlin Cup in 1994. And this was the first visit Viktor Korchnoi to our capital. And he was born in St. Petersburg like me, and it's a very special person for me, and of course I get to try to get interview with Viktor Lvovich, and he's very smiley. He is how I get some interesting story about his life. Most of them I know before, but it will be interesting to listen from his mouth. And of course, people like this interview. It's me too. I get some prize in my newspaper, and I start to write about chess constantly.
So you had a lot of interviews with the top players of the world. Did you interview all the world champions from that moment on?
Yeah, of course. I meet with all world champion. He was alive in my time. I can talk with Peterson because he died in 1984, and I can talk with Tal. He's died before my starting in chess. But with all others, I have a meeting and get some interview. It was very exciting. For example, to take a hands with Botvinnik and look and sitting in one room with Smyslov. And of course there are many talks with Anatoly Karpov and Garry Kasparov, because in one moment I'm working in his organizing, who is called Kasparov Chess, and I was one of the lead writer of this site, and there are many talking with Garry.
Can you tell me something about the chess life at the moment in Russia? There's not a world champion for a long time already. Now we have Carlsen. Before that we had Anand. The chess life at the very top, there's not a world champion at the moment. Is there somebody coming up right now, you think?
Chess in Russia, it's always was one of the most popular sport, and I hope we can get the champion in a close future. But I can't say any name who can beat Carlsen nowadays. But possible some of the Russian youngest players grew up during the few years, and possible to get it. But we have a real problem because there are much strong grandmaster. We have about 15 guys in the top 100, but only Sergei Karyakin can won some big event like Norway Chess on something else. We have so strong grandmaster like Vladimir Kramnik, but he's not so young, and he need to get the new motivation to get something new in the chess. It's strange situation because if you remember in USSR we have a long time only first place on every competition like Olympiad. team championship, Europe, in the world, everywhere. But I remember the last victory for the Russian chess team was in Bled, when Kasparov last time played for our team. After this moment, we can won only one Olympiad, and I don't remember one or two times we won the different team championship like the Europe and the world, but we can't want Olympiad.
Do you think it's because of the computer generation that everybody has the same access to the same material all over the world?
I think the main problem because all materials it's great for all people. It's easy to study, and first of all, there are many trainers who is traveling around the world. If remember 30, 40 years ago, now nobody have not so great connections like our player. But now, if you get the trainer of the most strong grandmaster in the world, most of them from the former USSR, it's explain anything.
Okay, you're doing a lot of things in chess. You're writing, making videos, photography. You also started a project called ExcitingChess. Tell me something about that project, please.
This is something interesting, because usually when you did something interesting in chess, you try to make something new. Like for me, this is a good idea, because I thinking about how we can show how's interesting, how's exciting chess, but not for professional chess players, of the people who knows what is the chess. I try to make this something for the common people who even don't know how piece is moving on the board. And I want to collect the most interesting moment from the chess event. I asked the chess star about his usual life, not about his chess moving. And I hope in the future we can find some new spectators for our channel, and I hope it will be interesting for the both.
That sounds very good. And in 2012, when I was in Moscow, I witnessed a very interesting match, and you were also kind of involved, I think, against blondes against brunettes. That's also quite an interesting project. Do you see any chances for that in the future?
I think it's a very beautiful and funny idea. It's a project made by Maria Fominik 7 years ago. But when I talk with her about this project, I'm asking first time, how the company you're involved to this project? Why you don't show something like the fashion, something? There are different kind of the company who is possible to interested to that project, because we know that chess is smart game, but nobody tried to show chess like the beautiful game. If you have, there are a few beautiful blondes and beautiful brunettes, get the good clothes, get him some haircuts, anything, and to show how it's beautiful, you can get a real good result. And I have a few ideas about the collecting the stuff of players to this tournament. For example, we have some election for the NBA, NHL, and different league to select the most interesting people to the special match. And I think we can cut participants of this tournament for the real strong grandmaster, and we can to get election in internet to find another 4 blondes and brunettes to play most interestingly. It must be not only chess tournament. This is be entertainment, of course, because people come to the beauty place and he want to get some satisfaction from what they see.
Well, I think we will get some reactions on this YouTube video on our YouTube channel about this interview, maybe. And I asked the viewers to send in some suggestions for this match, maybe. One final question. Baden-Baden is called the most Russian city outside of Russia. You visited this place a couple of times. What's Russian about Baden-Baden?
Oh, this is
And not only the 6 TV channels I have in my hotel room.
It's funny question, because when you're walking on the street of Baden-Baden, you can listen the different words. For example, most of an German listening, Italian, and third, like I said, the Russian. There are many Russians in this city, and they get relaxed. I found some of them in casino and a different rich place, and possible, I don't know, I can't any explanation why Russians like the Baden-Baden. This is absolutely beautiful place. I spent about many hours every day when I wake up and I go walk around the city because I like it. And after the first walking, I wrote to my friend Jan Gustafson, who is the chief editor of the magazine New Chess. This is a place when I want to get old and die.
Okay, I think that's a beautiful last words for this interview. I think. Thank you very much, and enjoy your stay in Baden-Baden.
Thank you very much. Thank you for good competition. It's exciting.
Thank you.